So Notion has come with a brand new feature known as the Notion Forms. So from now you don't need to use third-party systems in order to embed forms into Notion. Now you can simply use the Notion Forms feature. So in today's video we are going to see how to build a form in Notion and how to customize each and every aspect of it. Let's get started. First, let us see how to add a form. For that, press a / and search for forms. Then you will see the pre-built form over here where you can easily change the form title. Let's name it as all details, and you can also give a description. Enter all of your details. Okay, we can also customize the form. For example, we can add a custom form cover over here, maybe this one. Then also you can add a custom form icon. Now let's move on to understanding the different features in the Notion form, the different types of questions in Notion form. So what is this coming over here, that only members at Sambhav Talukdar's Notion can fill out this form? This simply means that it's a private form now. To change it, we can just tap it over here, and then we will get a few options over here. We will change the settings from anyone at Sambhav Talukdar's Notion to anyone on the web with link. What is the difference between these? Basically, when we are selecting anyone at Sambhav Talukdar's Notion, it will only allow the members of that particular Notion to fill in the details in the forms. And when it is anyone on the web with the link, as the name suggests, anyone on the web with the link can fill out this form. Now let's move on to questions. What are the different types of questions and how we can add them? As we can see that there are already 2 default questions given over here. Let's just delete all the questions so that we can understand the things from the very scratch. So now as I have deleted the question, the form is blank. So to add the first question, we can just press on this plus button over here, add a question, and now it will show us different types of the questions. We will understand all the types of the questions one by one. The first one is title property, and this is showing as an existing property because this is one of the default questions given by Notion. So let's understand about this property at first. So basically this is a title property in which we can take anything as the input over here. Let's take it as name. So now let's see what are the options we have over here. So the first one is required, and when we switch it on, this property will become one of the required properties in the form. That means you can't leave this property blank in the form, you have to fill it up. The next one is description. You can add the description over here, like enter, maybe you are telling us enter your first name. You can add some more details about the question over here. Now the next one is long answer. If you want to take a long answer as an input from the user, you just need to toggle the long answer on. The question type over here is the title question type, and then we have the view link property. This basically means that which property in the database is this name thing linked with. Now let's move on to the next one, sync with property name. It basically means if you change the name over here, maybe name first name, you won't see this changing over here, but if you do this and when you go to the database, see this change over here. Now let's move on to the next question type, that is multiple choice questions. As the name suggests, you can create multiple options and the user can select one or more options from there. Let's name it as age and give options as under 18, add another option, above 18, let's add another option, above 30, and last one is above 45. Having 4 options, and now let's move on to the properties of this question. That is, the first thing is required. Then we have description. We can just add a description over here, that enter your correct age. Then we have the max selection option. That is, this basically means that how many options will let the user select when they're filling up the form. Either it's unlimited or it's 1. 1 means it will become a single choice answer. Then we have the question type over here. Obviously, as I said, it's a multiple choice question. Then again, view the link property. It's linked over here with the options over here. Now let's move on to the next type of property, that is the date property. Let's just set it as a date of birth. So we will be having some options again. Date of birth will be required. Description, you can add it or not. For saving the time, I'm not adding it over here. And then we have the end date or include time. End date basically means that if you are having any kind of property where you need to have a start date and an end date, you can add end date over here. But in date of birth, we are not having an end date at this point of time. We can include the time, that which time and which year and which date a certain person was born. Then again the question type, it's a date question type, and then link property, it is linked with the date of birth. You can change this name over here also, not an issue. Now let's move on to next type of question that we have is files and media. As again the name is suggesting that this will take input of files and media. Like we can say passport size photograph. Now let's see, required, you can add the required thing. Then description, you can add it or not, it's up to you. Then there is the size limit given over here, that is 5 MB. You can increase this limit, but for that you will be needing the Notion paid version. Now let's see the next type of property. Again, it's very much self-explanatory that it will take number as the input. Let's take the phone number over here and let's see the options available over here. Required and description. Phone number is required and description you can add or not. Then question type, link property, same as others. Now let's move on to the next property that we have is a checkbox property. This is like mainly you can add the terms and conditions over here and just have checkbox label as I agree, or you can just remove this one and leave it as I agree and make it it's required. And no as such question options over here, same as the others. Now let's move on to the next type of question, that is the email question. Very much self-explanatory that if you want an email as an input, just select this type. And let's make it required over here again, and that's it. And now let's see what is the next type of question we have, that is URL. Basically in this URL, again enter your social media. Enter a social media URL. Then we also have the phone number. Again, it's kind of similar as the number one. We already have one phone number, so we won't add this over here anymore. So these are the different types of question options available in the Notion forms. Now let's see some other things in the Notion form. The first thing is you can drag these things like this. We can arrange the things as we need it. Now let's see how it's looking. Let's have a preview of the form. See, we can see the form is being created over here. And submit. Your details has been submitted. Now let's move on to the responses section in the database. The responses section work exactly similar to the other databases in Notion. Like you can edit the views over here. Like you can see it in different views. It can be board view, you can see in a list view, timeline, gallery view. Whatever you want, you can see it in that particular view. So after building the form, to share the form, you just need to click on share form and copy the link and share it to where you need the data from. And this was all about Notion forms and this video. So we'll meet you in our next amazing video. Bye.